Chris Amato works at Polk State College by day and spends the rest of his time building rustic industrial lamps. Each element of his unique creations is fully functional, and you can see all of them for yourself by visiting his shop, Nest Artisanal Wares in Winter Haven. Let's take a look.
My name is Chris Amato. I am the owner and maker here at Nest Artisanal Wares. I make rustic industrial functional art utilizing 1-inch diameter black iron pipe, wood, Edison style bulbs, fabric rack cords, desk lamps, floor lamps, shelving units, all kind of furniture and accessories. I didn't expect any of this to actually happen. I was always more artistic in creative writing. I never really did anything as far as assembling or sculptural pieces or things like that. So this actually began with a need that I had for my office at my day job. My day job is at Polk State College in the Learning Technology Department. I do computer support for the online learning system. For about 5 years, I was bouncing back and forth between 2 different office spaces. And so I just never really kind of had a place to call home there at work, so I didn't really take time to have a personalized office space, things like that. And then in November of 2017, I was finally moving into a new building with a dedicated office space where I was spending my 40 hours a week. I knew I wanted to kind of set it up and just have a cool little space for those 8 hours that I was there. And I definitely didn't want to use the 4 or 5 rows of fluorescent tube lights, that were right overhead. I wanted to have some cool desk lamps, but I couldn't really find anything that I had in mind. So I just went to Lowe's, and I knew I wanted to be have industrial feel, and I knew I wanted a working valve handle, things like that. So I just started laying out pieces there in the aisle and bought the pieces, brought them home, put them together, showed my wife. She just thought it was really cool. Brought them into work, and since we were in a new area, everybody was coming to check out the space. They saw the lamps and were like, those are really cool, where'd you get them? I said, well, I made them. And they said, well, now you've got to make me one. It just kind of took off from there. At first I was like, really? Because, I didn't consider myself an artist. Just made 2 lamps. To me, that was going to be the end of it. But fortunately, it's turned into something where I can really express the creative side of me that I really didn't know until recently I even had, and it just kind of exploded. I had a lot of support from colleagues at work, and of course from my family. When you get the support from your family, that's their job, is to support you, But when people you work with, or just even people who you've never met before at an event or something like that, when they come up and they start talking to you and they're so appreciative of a piece you've done or whatever, it's kind of surreal. And I'm just so grateful that they appreciate it, because everything I make, I make with intent, and I want it to be something, a piece that I would want to have in my house. And that's kind of how we ended up with a shop. I started running out of storage space in my house. I don't just slap something together just for the sake of putting something new out. I really want it to be something that I myself would want to purchase and display. And so to have people just share that appreciation, like I said, it's surreal, But so I've always just liked things that work. I'm a big watch fan. I've got a bunch of different watches, and if the watch has sub-dials on it, I want those sub-dials to actually do something. I don't want them to just be stickers. So I just want anything that I put on a piece to be able to do what you think it would be able to do if it's there. That's super important to me. I'm not going to put anything on there just for decoration purposes only. It's on there, it's going to work. If there's something I'm interested in, I dive completely into it until I learn all that there is to know about it. And so I was reading up on lamps and electricity and things like that, how to build them, and connections and safety. And so that's how I started. As I felt comfortable with that and I was learning more, that's how I was able to adopt functional gauges. Same thing with the outlet boxes. In that sense, I had a lot to learn as far as the mechanics of everything and the safety aspect of it. But the rest of it for me was pretty easy, as far as fitting the pipes together and kind of getting it to go the way I want, things like that. Some pieces I really can see clearly in my mind, and I actually sketch them out. And then other times I just kind of free flow. I'll just start assembling pieces and kind of see where it goes. It's interesting because you know, when you get to a point, you kind of feel where it's maybe a little forced. So you kind of take it back a little bit and rework it, and then it starts flowing again. And I've just come up with some really interesting final pieces just by free flowing like that. So it really just kind of depends. Some things really just kind of come to me. I had this one piece, I call it the Book Nook. It sold not too long ago, but that was one where one day I just kind of was sitting at home just thinking, and I just saw it from beginning to end right in my mind. And that one I sketched out, and when I finished it, it was identical to what I'd sketched. So, I mean, I had a desire, you know, I had a need and a want for a particular style. I wasn't seeing it out there, and I could have just said, all right, well, I'll just get something else that's already made, you know, it'll serve the purpose as a light. But I wouldn't have been happy with it. And so I figured, let me just see what I can do. And this is what's happened. So yeah, I mean, if anybody, you know, has a desire for anything, try and make it happen and see, because there's a lot of originality left to be revealed in the world. And I mean, right now I've got more ideas than I do time. Again, I had no idea that this was bottled up inside me. It's very fulfilling. I mean, there's been so many times where, you know, my wife and I would be at a store and we'd see something, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. I just wish it such and such. There's always something lacking or something that I wish it was a little different. And if you make it yourself, you can make it exactly as you want. And if you run into an obstacle, you can figure out a way around it to where it may not be exactly as you imagined, but it may end up even better than what you had in mind. I've had that happen where I had a goal and I was working toward it, and when I was there, I was like, something's still not right, so I reworked it, and then the final piece, I was like, wow, this is so much better. I'm so glad I didn't stick with what I had originally thought. You know, so you have to have that flexibility as well. But yeah, I mean, that's the best thing about making something yourself is you have complete control over the outcome of it, and you can make it just like you want it to be. This is really my passion. I didn't know I had a passion until I started doing this. I would love to do this full time someday. I just enjoy it. I love everything about it. I love going to shows and events, doing those things. I love being at the shop. I love building down here. And if you can get your home network to support you, then it's going to spread, because they're going to tell people, you know, their friends and family who aren't local, and it's just going to be easier to really make, you know, a living doing what you absolutely love to do.
Crow's Nest Artisanal Wares is located at 102 Burns Lane in Winter Haven and is open on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information, visit crowsnestartisanalwares.com.